Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, Makam Bakhair, Shama Shama Bakhair, and good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome everyone to this beautiful event. NAC started this event 5 years ago to celebrate the Afghanistan Independence Day and the Flag Day. But it turned into something bigger and more meaningful, which is the Afghan-American Integration Day. NAC and the Afghan community in Omaha built bridges between the local communities and the Afghan Americans. And we are all honored to be part of this event. نن ورځ ما ته ډېر د افتخار ځای ده چې موږ او تاسو دلته راټول شوي یو تر څو د افغانستان 107 کلیزه ولمانځو. 170 سال قبل نیاکان ما و شما برای آزادی جنگیدن و کشور خود را از انگلیس آزاد ساخت. Today I'm honored to speak about a subject that carries deep meaning for every Afghan, which is the Afghanistan Independence Day and what Afghan-American integration means for us. For Afghans, independence is not simply a date on the calendar. It represents freedom, dignity, sovereignty, sacrifice, and the right of people to determine their own future. د افغانانو لپاره د ازادي ورځ یوازې د جنتري په مخ باندې یوه ورځ نه بلکې دا د ازادي وقار، حاکمیت، قربانۍ او د خلکو د خپل راتلونکي د ټاکلو د حق استازیتوب کوي. But I believe independence also has a deeper meaning. Independence is not only about being free from another country, it's also about becoming responsible for ourselves. استقلال فقط به معنای رهایی از وابستگی به کشور دیگر نیست، بلکه به معنای مسئولیت پذیر شدن در قبال خودمان نیز است. Freedom without responsibility can be dangerous. Independence gives us rights, but it also gives us responsibilities. It means that we must educate ourselves, work hard, protect our families, respect others, follow the law, and contribute to our communities. له مسؤلیت پرته ازادي خطرناک واقع کېدای شي. خپلواکي موږ ته یو دا چې حقونه راکوي، خو موږ ته مسؤلیت هم راکوي. دا په دې معنا ده چې موږ باید په هر څه باندې ځان پوه کړو، سخت کار وکړو، خپلې کورنۍ وساتو، نورو ته درناوی وکړو، د قانون تعقیب کړو او خپلو ټولنیزو کارونو کې برخه واخلو. Afghanistan's history teaches us that courage and unity are powerful, but it also teaches us that division can weaken a nation. Afghanistan is a diverse country with Pashtuns, Tajiks, Hazaras, Uzbeks, Turkmen, Baloch, and many other communities. Our differences are part of our history and our identity. But when we allow those differences to divide us, we become weaker. تاریخ افغانستان به ما می‌آموزد که شجاعت و اتحاد قدرتمند است. اما همچنین به ما می‌آموزد که تفرقه می‌تواند یک ملت را تضعیف کند. افغانستان کشوری است که از اقوام مختلف مانند پشتون، تاجیک، هزاره، ازبک، ترکمن، بلوچ و بسیاری از اقوام دیگر جور شده. تفاوت‌های ما بخشی از تاریخ و هویت ماست، اما وقتی اجازه می‌دهیم این تفاوت‌ها ما را از هم جدا کند، ضعیف می‌شویم. نو د هغو افغانانو په توګه چې په امریکا کې ژوند کوي، موږ د دې تاریخ څخه د زده کړې فرصت لرو. موږ کولی شو ووایو چې موږ ممکن مختلف بک‌ګراوند، مختلف ژبې او مختلف نظرونه ولرو، مګر بیا هم موږ د یو ټولنې په توګه یو ځای سره ودرېږو. And this brings me to what independence means in our current lives here in the United States. For many of us, America represents a new chapter. Some of us came here for education, some came here to work, some came for safety, some came to build a better future for their children. برای بسیاری از ما امریکا فصل جدید را نشان می‌دهد. برخی از ما برای تحصیل به اینجا آمدیم، برخی ما برای کار، برخی برای امنیت، برخی برای ساختن آینده بهتر برای فرزندانمان. We don't have to choose between being an Afghan or being an American. We can be both. We can teach our children about Afghan hospitality, respect for elders, family, generosity in our rich traditions. We also teach them about American values such as civic responsibility, individual opportunities, volunteerism, and respect for the law. This is not about one culture replacing another. It's about integration, not erasure. موږ اړ نه یو چې د دوو انتخابونو څخه یو ولرو چې باید یا افغان واوسو او یا امریکایي. موږ کولی شو چې دواړه واوسو. موږ کولی شو خپلو ماشومانو ته د افغانانو د میلمه پالنې، مشرانو ته د درناوي، کورنۍ نظام او زموږ د بډایه دودونو په اړه درس وکړو، په داسې حال کې چې دوی ته د امریکایي ارزښتونو لکه مدني مسؤلیت، انفرادي فرصتونه، رضاکارانه کار او قانون ته درناوي په اړه درس ورکړو. دا د یو کلتور د بل کلتور د ځای نیولو په معنا نه دی، بلکې دا د ادغام په معنا دی، نه د له منځه وړلو په معنا. Integration means bringing the best of our culture with us while learning how to participate fully in American society. Cultural integration works best when both sides learn from each other. ادغام به معنای همراه کردن بهترین های فرهنگمان با خود و در عین حال یادگیری چگونگی مشارکت کامل در جامعه امریکا است. ادغام فرهنگی زمان بهترین نتیجه را می دهد که هر دو طرف از یکدیگر بیاموزند. And Afghan Americans are already contributing to the American society as business owners, doctors, engineers, teachers, students, veterans, public servants, community leaders, and workers. Afghan-American organizations such as NAC today emphasize both preserving Afghan heritage and contributing positively to American civic life. افغان الاصل امریکایان لا د مخه د امریکایي ټولنې سره په مختلفو برخو کې مرسته کوي، لکه د سوداګرو، ډاکټرانو په څېر، انجینرانو، ښوونکو، زده کوونکو، پخوانیو سرتورو، عامه کارمندانو، ټولنیزو د ټولنې مشرانو او کارګرانو په توګه. ناک په څېر سازمانونه نن ورځ د افغان میراث ساتلو او همدارنګه د امریکایي مدني ژوند کې مثبت رول لوبولو لپاره همیشه ټینګار او د دې لپاره نه ستړي کېدونکې هلې ځلې کوي. Think about what we can give America. We can bring our tradition of hospitality. We can bring our strong sense of family. We can bring our resilience. We can bring our language, food, music, art, stories, and history. به این فکر کنند که چه چیزی میتوانیم به امریکا بدهیم. میتوانیم سنت مهمان نوازی خود را به همراه خود بیاوریم. میتوانیم حس قوی خانواده دوستی، میتوانیم انعطاف پذیری، میتوانیم زبان، غذا، موسیقی، هنر، داستانها و تاریخ خود را به جامعه امریکا بیاوریم. And at the same time we can learn from America. We can learn the importance of civic participation. We can learn how to work with people from completely different backgrounds. We can encourage our children to pursue education in their dreams. We can participate in our neighborhoods, volunteer, vote when eligible, start businesses, serve our communities, and become leaders like Aisha Wahab, who was the most recent elected congresswoman from California. او ورته وخت کې موږ کولی شو له امریکایي کلتور څخه زده کړه وکړو. په مدني چارو کې د ګډون اهمیت څه دی؟ موږ کولی شو زده کړو چې د مختلفو نظرونو او بیکګراونډونو والا خلکو سره څنګه کار وکړو. موږ کولی شو خپل ماشومان وهڅوو چې تعلیم او تحصیل وکړي او خپل خوبونه تعقیب کړي. موږ کولی شو رضاکارانه کار وکړو. کله چې قانوني حق ولرو نو رایه ورکړو، سوداګري پیل کړو، خپلو ټولنو ته خدمت وکړو او د ټولنې مشران شو، لکه په دې وروستیو کې چې افغان الاصله عایشه وهاب د کالیفورنیا نه کانګرس ته کامیابه شوه. That's how we build a bridge between Afghanistan and America, and perhaps our children have the greatest opportunity of all. As we celebrate Afghan Independence Day, let us remember the sacrifices of generations before us. این گونه است که ما پل بین افغانستان و امریکا را می سازیم و شاید فرزندان ما بزرگترین فرصت را داشته باشد. همانطوری که روز استقلال افغانستان را جشن می گیریم، بیایید فداکاری های نسل های قبل از خود را به یاد داشته باشیم. But let us also ask ourselves a few very important questions. What are we doing with the freedom and opportunities that we have today in the United States? Are we educating our children? Are we building strong families? Are we helping our neighbors? Are we supporting one another? Are we teaching our children to respect both their Afghan heritage and the country they call home now? Are we becoming a positive part of American society? Because independence is not just something we inherit from history. خراجي چې له ځانه یو څو مهمې پوښتنې هم وکړو. آیا موږ نن ورځ د ازادۍ د فرصتونو څخه استفاده کوو؟ آیا موږ خپلو ماشومانو ته ښوونه او روزنه ورکوو؟ آیا موږ قوي کورنۍ جوړوو؟ آیا موږ له خپلو ګاونډیانو سره مرسته کوو؟ آیا موږ یو بل ملاتړ کوو؟ آیا موږ خپلو ماشومانو ته درس ورکوو چې دوی باید افغان کلتوري میراث ژوندی وساتي او هغه هیواد ته درناوی وکړي چې دوی یې اوس کور بولي؟ آیا موږ د امریکایي ټولنې مثبته برخه ګرځېدلي یو؟ ځکه چې خپلواکي یوازې هغه څه نه دي چې موږ له تاریخ څخه په میراث اخلو. My hope is that Afghan Americans will become a bridge between two great traditions, not a wall between them. And most importantly, let us remember that our future is not defined only by the difficulties of Afghanistan past. Our future can be defined by what we build together today. استقلال چیزی است که ما باید هر روز از طریق مسئولیت، عزت، اتحاد و سخت‌کوشی آن را زنده نگه داریم. امید من این است که امریکایی‌های افغان تبار به پل بین دو فرهنگ بزرگ تبدیل شود، نه دیوار بین آنها. و از همه مهمتر بیایید به یاد داشته باشیم که آینده ما فقط با مشکلات گذشته افغانستان تعریف نمی شود. آینده ما می تواند با آنچه امروز با هم می سازیم تعریف شود. په دې هیله چې افغانستان به یو ورځ د تلپاتې سولې، ثبات، سوکالۍ او وقار خاوند شي. Our roots may be in Afghanistan, but our future can be built here in America. Let us not forget where we come from. Let us appreciate where we are, and let us work together for where we are going. May Afghan Americans continue to be a source of strength, unity and positive contribution to the United States. د یو سرلوړي او آزاد افغانستان په هیله مننه، تشکر. Thank you so much.
ولې په مخ کې داسې ژړا وکړه یاره لکه چې خویندې ژاړي ورور د جنازې مخې ته. د پروګرام په دې برخه کې بلنه ورکوو اغلې فریحه مومن. اغلې فریحه مومن په افغانستان کې د پوهنتون استاده، په 2021 کال کې امریکا ته راغلې، اوس هم د لینکسټر کاونټي د ولینکن ښار کې د هیلت نیویګیټر په حیث کار کوي چې زیاتره کارونه یې د مهاجرینو سره د هغوی لاسرسی دی د منابع په برخه کې. د پروګرام په دې برخه کې یو ځل بیا تکراروم، اغلې فریحه مومن تشویق یې کوي.
با سلام و شب بخیر به تمام حضار محترم. شب شما بخیر. خوشحال هستم که به عنوان یک زن افغان به نمایندگی از هزاران زن مهاجر و به نمایندگی از هزاران زنی که میخواین برای حق خود صدای داشته باشم اینجا ایستاده هستم و میخوایم راجع به از اینکه من کی بودم، کی هستم و چی میکنم با شما صحبت کنم. فریحه مومن هستم، متولد هلمند لشکرگاه و کلان شده هرات. تحصیلات ما در مقطع ماستری از پانتون کابل در رشته اقتصاد ملی هست و در افغانستان به عنوان متخصص نصاب تعلیمات تکنیکی مسلکی فعالیت داشتم. در کنار از او در انستیتوت اداره حسابداری هرات استاد بودم و در پانتون‌های مختلف هرات تدریس کردم. وقتی از تدریسم صحبت میکنم یادم میاد از تمام شاگردایم، از تمام دخترایی که امروز منتظر هستن که دروازه‌های مکتب باز شد، دروازه‌های پانتون باز شد. با امید از اینکه روز برسه. ما به عنوان یک زن 26 آگوست 2021 یکی از روزهای پردرد زندگی خود در کنار فامیل خود تجلیل میکنم به خاطر از اینکه در اون روز با دو طفل خود و شوهرم ما افغانستان ترک کردیم و بیرون شدیم از افغانستان با یک پلان ناسنجیده شده، بدون از اینکه پلان داشته باشیم. فقط بر ما گفته شد با یک کوله پشتی که در او اوراق تحصیلی ما بود و غذا برای طفلای ما از افغانستان برآمدیم. و بعد از اینکه از مرحله کم‌ها گذشتیم ما به نبراسکا آمدیم و وارد شهر لینکن شدیم. در نبراسکا نومز ما په ذهن کې بیخي نه و لکه نورو افغانان چې همیشه امریکا پسې خبرې کوي وایي کالیفورنیا ته ځو، ویرجینیا ته ځو، نیویورک ته ځو. ما د نبراسکا نوم نه و اورېدلی چې زه یو وخت ځم هلته ژوند کوم. خو کله چې نبراسکا ته رالم نبراسکا ما ته یو نوی پړاو د ژوند پرانیستل او داسې یو دروازه یې راته خلاصه کړې چې زه دلته باید خپل ژوند د صفر نه شروع کړم. د خپل وطن پریغوستل آسانه کار نه دی هیچ چاته، نه ښځو ته نه سړو ته. په دې خاطر چې هغه وطن چې په ما باندې سرمایه‌ګذاري وکړله زما تحصیلات ټول مشکلات یې وزغمله باید زما تحصیلات نه دا یو نتیجه اخیستې وای او د نورو ښځو په رقم چې ما هم غوښتل چې خپل تحصیلات نه استفاده وکړم او خپل وطن ته یو کار وکړم خو مجبوریت بل شی دی مجبوریت راوستلم دلته په هر حال شکر دی په دې خاطر چې تقدیر هغه شی دی چې موږ باید هغې ته شکرګزار اوسو The way Lincoln, Nebraska people welcome me, I just felt that, okay, I can start from the beginning. They supported me and I cannot forget the day which I started my life here. Can't say enough thanks to them. I start my job with Asian Community and Culture Center as an educational coordinator, where I could teach English for driving for those women who wanted to pass the permit test for driving. Besides that, I was teaching them basic of sewing. So I had sewing classes, I had financial education classes, I had some cultural classes which I could empower the women who came from Afghanistan here to start their new life, and then I wanted to support them to be a successful person here, to accept and adjust the difference of culture. However, after some years working there, I went to Lincoln Lancaster County as an interpreter and translator, and then after some months as a promotion job, I got a job which is called Refugee Health Navigator. With this job, I'm able to connect refugees, newcomers, and those people who need resources. And any support I can do as a refugee navigator, I will be happy to do that. And this is part of my job to support them. The way I came, those days which I walked through hard days of my life, I don't want that any other women or any other Afghan or non-Afghan refugee families went through. These are hard days that you cannot forget that. And I don't want to leave my community and people alone. میخوایم کوتاه کنم صحبتهای من فقط آرزو میکنم که افغانستان ما را افغانستان آباد و آزاد ببینیم و زنان کشور ما از او حق اسلامی که باید برخوردار باشن و بتانن و همون رقمی که میخواین زندگی کنن و داخل اختیار نفس کشیدن خود داشته باشن با امید که تمام افغانستان و مردم افغانستان و زنان افغانستان در سر تا سر جهان به آرامش کامل برسن دیو آباد سوکال او خوشحال افغانستان په تمه مننه
مقدمه خیر شما باد گرامی به همه مقدمه خیر شما باد گرامی به همه این چنین عهد وفا رنگ خدایی دارد از خانم فریحه ماهمند صمیمانه سپاسگزاریم که با سخنان ارزشمندشان بر غنای این محفل افزودند طبق موضوع برنامه دعوت می نماییم از محترم آقای سایرس جفری که به جایگاه شرف حضور پیدا کنند و ایراد کلام نمایند لطفاً با تشویق گرم و پرشور خود از ایشان استقبال نمایید.
All right. Hi, everyone. Hey, first, I just want to thank the Nebraska Afghan community for putting this event together. Such an awesome event, and I am honored to speak. Hopefully you guys get something out of my conversation. So again, my name is Cyrus Jaffrey for you guys that don't know me. I came to the US in 2002 when I was 14 years old. Before coming here, my family had trauma back in Afghanistan. Our house got bombed and we flew to Pakistan. We spent 12 years in Pakistan and somehow made it to America. A lot of family, my aunt and everybody lived in Nebraska, so got an opportunity to come here in 2002 And I can tell you, man, when I first moved here, it was tough. I remember crying for probably the first month because I did not want to be here. You know, I was home was Pakistan, and where I grew up, and all my friends were there, and it was really difficult. And it felt really foreign to be here and lonely in many times. And I'm assuming some of you guys can maybe relate to that. But I can tell you that we had no idea what we were doing. We didn't know the language, the culture, or how things worked in some capacity. But we looked different at the time. We sounded different, and we just didn't feel like we belonged. America in 2002 was a little bit different, a little probably less diverse than it is now. So it was a little bit difficult back in Colorado when I started going to high school as a freshman. I remember one of the first vivid memories when we came to Atlanta airport, and we tried like French fries for the first time from McDonald's, because that was the one thing that I wanted to try really, really bad. And it was probably the best thing I've ever tried at the time. And I was hooked to the French fries from McDonald's. So, but there was a lot of good things in America, as you guys know, man. When we moved to Colorado, we were right next to a church, and I remember this church in Colorado basically took us under their wings, took me to a Denver Broncos game, and made me feel that there is kindness in America. There are many, many, many people who are here to help. And I just can't thank those people for helping us get through a really, really tough time. And I'm encouraging a lot of you guys to lean on that. There's a lot of good that comes from obviously being here. Some of the difficult times that I had growing up, and some of you guys have had growing up, it made me who I am, right? And everybody sitting here, everybody has a story, and your story is important, and I think you need to share it with a lot of people. The experience taught me something that I will believe today. Sometimes one person's kindness can completely change the direction of another person's life. And that's what happened to me when a church that didn't know me at all kind of got us under their wings and taught us some of the things to do where we were. So growing up, I went to high school, Miller North High School. I didn't know I didn't know the language. I was in English as a second language classes for probably 3 years until my senior year. Couldn't always understand what my teachers would communicate with me. Times maybe I felt embarrassed, and it was really, really difficult. But my family sacrificed to bring us here, to give us a better life. And we didn't come to America with any money, connections, or a roadmap. But you just kind of figure it out, right? Like a lot of you guys are figuring it out, and we are all in our own journey in some capacity. So one of the biggest things that helped me was deciding not to stay away from the culture or be afraid of the change. The biggest thing that helped me was deciding to fall to it and not walk away from it. Don't be afraid of the change. Decide to dive in, learn the culture, understand this new way of life, but also never forget your past and where you come from and what you do. I would tell you, one of the things when I came here as a freshman in high school that changed my life was soccer. I was good at it. I played soccer with my dad growing up in Afghanistan and in Pakistan on the roof, just playing with friends. And I was pretty good at it. I started trying out for the soccer team, and for the first time, I felt belonged in America in some capacity, and people started liking me because I was maybe scoring goals, or I made a lot more friends, and it was pretty cool to belong in some capacity, in this foreign world, because it was pretty difficult in the beginning. I felt a different energy from the kids. Once I started being a part of them and inviting them to come hang out, or they invited me to come hang out with them, because I tell you what, like I said earlier, there's a lot of great people in America, and I feel like a lot of us maybe need to lean in on them in some capacity and show them your generous and kind heart, because there's a lot of them over there on the other side as well, and we can belong together. I could tell You know, I was, for the first time after soccer, when it became my universal language, the experience taught me, again, not to run away from the change, embrace the culture, the new beginnings and the opportunities around me. You don't have to forget where you come from, you know, but embrace where you're going, because you do have a future. The longer you stay away because of fear, the harder it becomes to connect, grow, and become successful. Now, don't allow your fear of a new culture to keep you on the outside. Dive in, embrace the change, and find the gift you already have that can help you connect with others. For me, that gift was soccer. It changed my life. Okay. One of the biggest lessons from my book, I wrote a book, Triumph After Trauma, which is the story of my life coming to the U.S., is that you know, what happens to you does not have to define what happens next. You define your future. Trauma can either become the thing that holds you back or fuel that pushes you forward. I couldn't control where my story began, but I can control where the opportunity is in front of me. And you have an opportunity in front of you for people that have been here recently, and for people that have been here for a long time, and even for myself that have been here for 25 years. I got into insurance right after college. You know, I didn't grow up thinking, okay, I was going to be an insurance agent by any means. Like many immigrants, I was simply looking for an opportunity to build a career. I worked at Wells Fargo, found insurance, had to learn, you know, that much more than insurance. I had to learn how to communicate, sell, and earn people's trust in a different world. And that could be really, really difficult. Eventually, I took a chance on myself and began building my own insurance business. There was no guarantee that it would work, but I was willing to work hard, learn from failure, and keep moving forward. I learned that success is not about knowing everything when you begin. It's about being willing to learn what you don't know. And a lot of us don't know a lot when we come here. But if you're willing to learn and you're willing to embrace the new culture, the new way of doing things, I feel like everybody can be successful. Being an immigrant gives me resilience. When you've already rebuilt your life once, you're less afraid to build a business. Some of the best business owners I know come from adversity and maybe come from different parts of the world, and a lot of them from Afghanistan, because what's the worst that can happen? You've gone through so much in life. Now, over the years, I've had the opportunity to build business in insurance, technology, and other industries. We have over 150 people at one time in our organization that work for us, but that wasn't probably the best thing about the business. The coolest thing about the business was we've had some exits, we've had some opportunities that we've had a lot of success, but the best part was building it with family. You know, a lot of you guys know, you know, I work with a lot of family. I work with my brothers, with my sisters, with my cousins, and with my wife for about a month that I worked with her. You know, building new technology, building insurance was difficult, but doing it with family and people you can trust was pretty cool. It was one of the best parts about what we did. You know, success may look individual from the outside, but every successful person is usually a family that sacrificed. I'm especially fortunate because I don't just have the support of my family. I get to build business alongside my brothers and sisters. We work together, challenges and celebrate success together, which is awesome. You know, people may see my name attached to the business, but none of it was built alone. It was built with family, supported by family, and shared with family. It was built with a single mom moving us here to the U.S. with 5-6 siblings, not knowing what she was doing, and giving us an opportunity. And it's pretty cool in some capacity to give back. And I feel like a lot of us can do the same for our moms and for our dads and for the people that have supported us. And then success in giving back. One milestone I'm proud of is building an insurance organization that has served thousands of families and grown across 30 states. You know, we built a 50 million personalized insurance book in 4 years, but a lot of that is just words, right? It's really, really fun to do it, again, with family and doing it with a lot of clients here that have supported us over the years. I've also had the opportunity to lead more than 100 people, but building companies and writing my book, Triumph After Trauma. But success means more to me than revenue, awards, exits, or business growth. Success means creating opportunities for other people and showing young refugees what is possible. Man, you can do anything in life in America, and that's the coolest thing about this country is you can literally be anything that you want to be. Don't ever let anybody stop you. Don't ever let anybody tell you you can't do something. My background helps me understand immigrant families because I know what it's like to be confused, overwhelmed, and afraid to ask questions. But many immigrants come from other countries where financial and insurance systems work very differently. I can serve with patience and respect. I stay connected to the Afghan community by sharing my story and supporting others and reminding our young people to not be afraid of where you come from. Being Afghan is not something we have to overcome. Our courage, family values, and sacrifices, work ethic can become some of our greatest strengths. In closing, to every young Afghan immigrant here tonight, never be ashamed of your story. Your accent does not measure your intelligence. Where you started does not determine where you'll finish. You may have to work harder, learn faster, and overcome things other peoples will never understand, but those experiences can make you stronger. Respect the sacrifices your family made for you and make the most out of the opportunities that are given. Get an education, man. Find good mentors. If you need to reach out to the Afghans and other people, man, there's a lot of great business people, great business mentors that are Afghan. Reach out to them. They're happy to help. I am happy to help. Don't forget your culture or where you came from, but don't be afraid to become something your family has never seen before. Because a lot of us have the opportunity to do greater things that maybe our parents did or our elders did, but that's the beauty of being in America. I want to leave you with this. Afghan people are some of the kindest and hardest working people in the world. We don't look for trouble. We don't take the lazy way out. We work hard, we push forward, and we take care of our families. I've met some of the most successful CEOs in the world. Today I sit in an executive room of a private equity-backed insurance company worth billions of dollars. And I can honestly tell you that 4 characteristics stand out in nearly every successful people that I meet. Kindness, hardworking, creativity, and the courage to think big. And kindness, hard work, and creativity are literally among most of the Afghans that I meet. Hard work will move you forward. Kindness will bring some people with you. Creativity will help you see opportunities that other people miss. Think big will make you allowed to imagine a future beyond your current measures. Whether you want to become wealthy, be in a successful career, start a business, or simply be an amazing father, mother, or provider, keep those 4 characteristics at the foundation of your growth. If you do that, the sky's the limit for every person in this room. Never let anyone tell you that you are not enough. You look different, sound different, or come from somewhere different. The people who are different are often the ones who think differently. And the people who think differently are the ones who make the biggest change in this world. This world needs change. It needs to become kinder, stronger, and better. And I believe every one of you can help make that happen. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jeffrey. ډیره زیاته مننه. خیلی ممنون. ما نن بیا کړی تاوان دی او ماښام دی. ما نن بیا کړی تاوان دی او ماښام دی. زړه مې تا پسې پریشان دی او ماښام دی. یاره ستا د هغې د ځینې خاله هیر مې نه کړي. زړه مې ډېر درپسې وران دی او ماښام دی. اوس هم بلنه ورکوو اغلې ملالۍ فضلي ته چې راشي او خپل وینا له سره شریکه کړي. اغلې ملالۍ په لینکن کې د کمیونټي کوارډینیټورې په توګه کار کوي. نور به در سره په خپله وینا کې شریک دي چې کوم کارونه یې کړي. اغلې ملالۍ لږ یې تشویق کوي. ډېر یې تشویق کوي منظور.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. د هر څه څخه د مخه و ټولو راغلو میلمنو افغانانو وروڼو او خویندو ته خپل سلامونه وړاندې کوم. نوم مې ملالۍ اصلي د کندهار او د تېر 5 کالو راهیسې د لینکن په ښار کې اوسېږم او د ډېرو افغانانو سره مې د کیس مینیجرې په حیث کار کړی دی او اوس مهال د افغانو ښځو د حقوقو دپاره د افغانز فور بیټر ټمارو ارګنایزیشن په نامه د یو ارګنایزیشن په نامه هلته کار کوم. هیوادوالو واقعا هم د خوشحالۍ ځای دی چې موږ تاسې هر کال د اګست په میاشت کې دلته راټولیږو تر څو نه یوازې د پیوستون ورځ تر څنګ یې د افغانستان د ازادۍ ورځ په ګډه سره ولمانځو. هیوادوالو دا چې د هر چا سره به د ازادۍ تاریخ جلا او آیا د افغانستان د ازادۍ ورځ باید ولمانځل سي که یا په دې اړه مختلف نظرونه شته. لیکن زه غواړم دا ووایم او په دې ټینګار وکړم چې د افغانستان د ازادۍ د ورځې لمانځل د افغانستان د ننني حالت او د ننني واقعیت نمایندګي نه کوي. په حقیقت کې افغانستان د تیرو 5 کالو راهیسې د تاریخ د یو بدبخته او تاریکه شپه ورځ څخه تیریږي، چیرې چې انساني او بشري حقوق هیڅ ارزښت نه لري. د نجونو پر مخ مکتبونه د تیرو 6 کلونو راهیسې تقریبا بند دي. خو د دې ورځې لمانځل، د خپلو فامیلونو سره دلته راتلل او د خپل هیواد بیرغ راپورته کول موږ ته دا راپیادوي چې ستر غازي امان الله خان موږ ته 107 کاله مخکې ازادي اخیستې وه او د هغه د ازادۍ غږ باید د هر افغان زړه په زړه کې 107 کاله هم ژوندی پاتې وي. دا زموږ تاریخي او سمبولیکه ورځ ده چې موږ ته دا راپیادوي چې د ستر غازي امان الله خان ارمان چې و، هغه غوښتل چې ملت یې یو ویښ، پوه، باسواده او پرمختللی ملت واوسي. نو دا چې موږ تاسې نن دلته ټوله راټول سوي یو د خپلو فامیلو سره د ټولو مصروفیتو او کارو د خوشحالۍ ځای دی او دا د دې ښکاره ثبوت دی چې موږ تاسې ته خپل وطن، خپل کلتور، خپله ژبه او دا مهمې او سمبولیکې ورځې ارزښت لري او موږ په ویاړو. نو غواړم ستاسې د ټولو په راتګ یو ګډه چکچکه وکړو. Now I'd like to thank the Nebraska Afghan Community Organization for always bringing this beautiful and diverse crowd of people to celebrate this special day. I'll briefly talk about myself, and I would like to talk more about how far we've come as a community. And I say it with English because we have so many American friends sitting here. I came to Nebraska about 7 years ago with my family. And like many refugees, I also didn't know about Nebraska, and I didn't know what to expect here. As a refugee, that journey comes with thousands of uncertainties. I was worried, and it was the support and help of our local community friends and organizations that we were able to take up in our journey smoothly. It didn't take longer before I saw my story repeating itself. And what I mean by that is in August 2021, when Nebraska welcomed thousands of Afghan refugees, at that time I was working as a case manager for the Afghan refugee families. As these families were arriving, I remember how worried they were. They were having anxiety and worries on their faces. And that's what I mean when I say I saw my story repeating itself. But I knew something that they didn't know. I knew that Nebraska was going to show up for them. Every single resettlement agency in Nebraska was overwhelmed by the number of community members, American friends and sponsors who were willing to work with our Afghan refugees. And eventually, with the support of those American sponsors and community friends, our families today are growing and they are living a better life. The transition for our Afghan families to go from working with an Afghan worker to go working with an American sponsor was not easy. There was language barriers, there was culture barriers. And I remember this one family that was working with their American sponsor. Her name was Erica. And when the family asked the sponsor for her name, she was like, "My name is Erica." And the family had a very hard time pronouncing her name. And they were like, "Can we call you America?" And they kept calling her America until they learned her name. This was funny, but it also captured a very beautiful moment. It was about the connections and meaningful bonds that they built over the past 5 years. I wouldn't make my speech longer, but during a recent mentorship program, I was working with Afghan refugee youth. And I remember the same girls that were first learning English 5 years ago. Today, they are talking about becoming nurses. They are planning on becoming doctors, and they are talking about becoming professionals. So I would like to say that this wouldn't have been possible without the support of our community friends.
Melody,